The views and opinions expressed by our host and guests are of their own opinion and experience and are not representative of their occupations, houses of worship, or any other intellectual property. Athens Avenue is not liable for its audience's adaptation of said experience over the next hour.
What is Athens Ave? Athens Ave is a hangout where the body of Christ can come and wrestle with our witness in the world that is becoming increasingly intolerant to our presence, to our position, and most of all, the praise to our God. What is Athens Ave? It's where we give a biblical worldview on life and ministry and seek to courageously respond to it as it's happening. You never know who you might see on Athens Ave. On Athens Ave, you're going to hear gossip in the pew. You're going to hear a fight on in this corner. And on Athens Ave, we'll provide wisdom from the men of Issachar. It's always going down on Athens Ave. Make sure you make it right on Athens Ave. Welcome to a special edition of On the Spot. Yes, an entire segment dedicated to the Cancer Diaries. So I would like for you all to go on a small journey with me. And the first stop that we're going to take is with our very own visionary, the man behind Athens Avenue podcast, GCC, shout out. He is a husband, he's a brother, he's a bruh, he's a nephew, he's a cousin, he's your pastor, he's all of the things. None other than Dr. LA. Hi, Dr. LA.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, today I would like the opportunity, if you don't mind, to put you on the spot.
Sure. We can't do the side to side. I got to be on the spot for real.
No, you're on the spot for real. And I'm actually going to go ahead and run this interview. Is that all right with you?
Okay. You go ahead and run. Well, you act like you don't normally run things, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Don't do that to me. But let's just get into this because this is about the Cancer Diaries. And
Absolutely.
You're definitely living proof of survival and strength. So many of us look up to you and just how you have walked this journey, how you've shared this journey. When that diagnosis hit, what was the truth you had to swallow? And what was the fire that ignited you to immediately become an advocate for yourself?
The advocate part, as I talk about in a book, it was from my sister. The advocate became before the diagnosis. The advocate of her reminded me that doctors are practicing, and they're practicing on us. And the fact that they will tell me to wait, and I was doing some active surveillance and some things, and she just kept pushing me like, no, you need to make sure that,
Right.
they're doing their due diligence, they're taking that test. And so I pushed them, can I get another biopsy? Can I get another test? I want to find what is going on. And so I was an advocate before I got the diagnosis, but upon getting the diagnosis, my truth was mortality. I mean, just to be honest about it, I just, I came face to face with, I don't know how long I got. It created an urgency in me, looking at my children, looking at my life, making sure that I was leaving this place a better place than when I got here. I mean, and so I really started thinking about, I don't know how long I got. And so, making the most of each day and each moment. But it was tough. It was tough. I can't act like it wasn't. I didn't just say, oh yeah, I'm ready to go home to be with the Lord. I was like, wow, I may not get to see, walk my daughter down the aisle. I may not see my sons become men. I may never experience somebody calling me grandpop or pop. Like, it was really, those feelings of leaving Kim widowed. Like, yeah, like.
Wow. I hope I don't cry this whole entire interview, Dr. Like, you go ahead. Yeah, y'all, I don't know why you chose me to. I mean, I get that but I'm just like, Lord, please let me not cry, because those are all very real feelings that obviously not just you have embarked upon or have had to deal with. So to hear you articulate it in the way that you have, that just touches my heart. Okay, I'm gonna be able to get through this, guys. You're gonna have to help me out. But listen, as the main visionary of this project, because this is your baby, the diaries just has been something that something that the Lord gave you, and
Mhm.
I love it. From the pastor's diaries to the pastor's wives' diaries, and now this, you have like a million things on your plate. Okay,
Mhm.
it's 1,000,005. So why this book? Why now? And what exactly were you hoping, or are you hoping to fix or heal with Cancer Diaries that other resources just aren't touching? I need to know the mission.
Well, the original plan after
Mhm.
the pastor's diaries and the pastor wives diaries was to do the pastor kids diaries. It just came. It was next, the PK diaries.
Right.
That was what I was going to do. But one of the ministers at the church got cancer. One of my best friends got cancer.
Mm.
And it was just like, wow, cancer's hitting, bing, bing, bing. And there was so much cancer around me. And it was the way they were handling it. One didn't want anybody to know.
Okay.
The other one was wrestling with, how do I deal with it? Wrestling with mortality. Who do I tell? Who do I not tell? How do I tell? And the feelings around it, spouses, children, like it was this whole, how do you even deal with this thing? At the same time, I'm still on my 6 month
Mm.
journey of every 6 months. I got to get checked to see, hey, you going to find out, do you have it? Do you not? Do we see it? Do we not? And so it was really, this idea that, wow, we all know somebody who's been affected by it.
Right.
We all, those of us who have it, deal with it in very different ways. Again, some want to be public, some want to be very private. Like Cancer Diaries was always something I was going
Right.
to write on at some point. But the expediency of writing on it now, the reason it accelerated beyond the pastor's kids diaries, like the Lord just kept bringing it back to me.
Back
Like
to you.
this is a resource that they need now. And I think what differs from other resources out there
Mhm.
is what I do. I got other contributors. As I always do, I never like it to be just my voice. I
Right.
got others and their experience of when they found out and how they found out and how they told somebody and how they dealt with it and what kind of help they went and got. Those are the things that I think you need more than just one story and one voice talking to you. And then it's faith based, and so that's important that
Yes.
we who know the Lord, we don't deal with it like everybody else. It doesn't mean that we don't get scared, we don't get depressed, we don't get discouraged. But when we do, what do we do at that point? You know what I mean? You have an
Right.
Aaron and a her to lean on. You have the word of God to ground yourself on. Like you gotta have resources when you hit those valleys to be recognized that I'm not in the valley alone.
I am uber pumped about the fact that you included the caregivers. That to me is the secret sauce
Mm,
of this book. Now, this is just my opinion, but
mhm,
that to me is what makes this book essential, to hear
mm.
from the caregivers, because we very rarely hear from the caregivers. So what made you realize to tell that full survival story? As you kind of started, you have Kim in the book, you have so many phenomenal voices. So I want to know about, why did you include the caregivers and not just make it from the purview of the survivors?
The caregivers came in when I went to my last 6 month checkup,
Okay.
and the doctor communicated that they didn't detect any cancer. She said to me, we don't have to come back in 6 months now because I just celebrated 5 years, and she was like, so you don't have to come back 6 months. We can do it in 9. And so I was like, oh, like if I don't have to deal with this every 6 months, but every 9,
Right.
it's only 3 more months. But to go through this every 6 months, I don't know if anybody really knows what it feels like to every 6 months find out if you have cancer or not. That's
Right.
exactly what it is. And so for her to say 9, I was like, bet. Like to me, after 9 come a year, and so I'm like, yeah. But Kim instantly said no. And I look like, and so mind you, we're on a telehealth appointment sitting next to
Right.
each other. So I'm
How was
like,
your face? Was your face straight?
I tried, but no,
Okay.
my face tell all of my business.
It
So
sure does.
I was like, what's wrong with you? Like that's
Right.
a good thing. But for her it wasn't.
Right.
And so I said, no, but let's keep it the same. We'll talk about it. But for now, let's just do it for 6 months, And we played it off and got off the joint, But in our discussion, I realized, that this wasn't just traumatic for me, it was
Right.
traumatic for her. And in her mind, to wait another extra 3 months, anything
Wow.
could happen. So for her, early detection is the solution. She don't want to go 9 months. She want to go say, like, if it was up to her, she would do 3.
3. Right.
I want to know at all times that he's good. And so for
Right.
her, no, I don't want it to take a chance. And in between month 6 and month 9, he got something and we just find out months later. So I realized like she really was at the place of I'm going to lose. Like I'm thinking about my mortality, but on the other side, she's thinking about, I could lose my husband. My children could lose their father. Like I don't know
Right.
what life is going to be like. And so I realized that, and I was like, wow, they've been through something too. Like, and
Right.
it just hit me like, yeah, just because you're going through, you're not the only one. Everybody who's around you, who loves you, close to you, got a story because they're affected by you. And so
Yeah.
for me, it was like, let's give these caregivers a chance to speak and have voice, because many people don't even know how to deal with them. Again, I have survivors who lost their spouse. Do you,
Right.
do you ask how they doing? They don't get invited to couples things no more, right?
Right.
Because they're not a couple no more. But yet they like, where are my friends? How are they not
Mm.
inviting me over? Like, ask me if I'm offended by coming alone. Don't just
Right.
not
Don't
not
just
invite
exclude
me,
me. Right.
right?
Right.
Everybody know it was his birthday. We celebrated his 50th. We celebrate, and now when his birthday come, they act like he didn't exist because they're worried about whether or not they're going to bring up a painful point for me. So it's like, wow. Not only do we not know what to ask the cancer guy or girl, we
Right.
don't know what to ask or do around the survivors when they lost a child. Do we mention it? Do we say Happy Mother's Day? Don't say Mother's Day. Like, what
Yeah.
do we say? What don't we say? So it's really like, yo, they need a voice, they need a space where they can share, and other caregivers need to know, like, yo,
Yes.
where do I fall at in this realm of things? So I felt like, man, this is for all of us.
I'm excited. I was pumped about that. But listen, you're a leader, you're a pastor. I gave all of the other titles that you have. You're a professor. You do all of these things. So during this journey, was there any type of pressure to appear strong or quiet about your pain? And how did embracing that raw, vulnerable truth found in sections like emotions overload shift your approach, excuse me, to leadership?
Well, yes, and yes, probably,
Yes, and yes.
just
I was wondering. I was like, yeah, because I
yeah,
want to talk about those. Those are real
yeah.
feelings.
So you can't stand in the pulpit for 2 decades telling people when they're going through, this is the place they need to be, and then you
Right.
go through and you go hide. So there's something about, you got to stand on your faith, just like you done challenge everybody who's been under the sound of your voice. And
Right.
so when I went through the process, there was no way in the world I could hide, or I could be quiet about it, or I could crawl up in a ball. So it was the Cancer Chronicles. Like we went public, you know what I mean? And we did the YouTube documentary, like, nah, we gonna do this thing. And for me, I had it twice, 2018 and 2020, you know what I mean? So to go through that process, I went through it because I was more rocked the second time than I was the first time.
We all
Uh,
were.
because I couldn't believe that
Yes.
that it was back. I couldn't believe that I was going through that. And then, all those 7 weeks of radiation treatments and all of that,
Mhm.
so I did that publicly because I needed to be held accountable. Because
Right.
that second time, if I wasn't a pastor, and I wasn't such a public figure, I probably could have really hit such a depression, and crawled up in a ball because I really was shocked, to know that I had it again.
Wow.
But getting up and doing that, that video documentary and saying scripture and being with my family and walking that thing
Yes.
out publicly, that was huge. And me doing that, it was, there was because of who I am and, where the Lord has placed me. I felt like, yeah, I can't go silent with this. I gotta be public. And you know what? I praise God for it. I can't tell you the ministry that birthed from that. I
Yes.
can't tell you the amount of individuals who told me I went and got my prostate checked because of you and because of you going public. And how many men I got a chance. I mean, this shirt I got on right now, I'm a
Yes,
hope
I was
dealer.
going to ask you about that. Yes, you're a
Yeah,
hope dealer.
I
Yes.
am a hope dealer. That the Pastor Alonzo, shout out. He gave that to me, you know what
Love
I
it.
mean? Because I, helped him go get checked and he believed that helped save his life, man. So yeah,
Ooh,
going public was something that it was like, yeah, I'm saving, Lord is using me to save lives. I mean, he does the saving, but he using me in a spiritual way, but also in a physical way
I love it.
by going public with it.
I love that. Now I only have two questions. This next one is about your contributors. You have those that talk about everything from what broke me, built me, to the value of professional counsel. What was the most profound common thread or lesson you took away from reading the collective diaries of your fellow survivors and caregivers? I
I
know
think
it's a hard one, is it?
that was hard. I mean, I think there was a common theme, which I think I really hope we catch, is most of the individuals, cancer was caught in their normal routine physical
I
checkup.
love to hear it.
It was
Love it.
really about, so you can't run from the doctor. If you feel something, it's like you see something, say something,
Right.
right? We got this fear of doctors, but it was, I can't tell you how many people was like, yeah, I was there for a normal checkup and it hit me by total surprise when they found out. So that was one thing. The other thing was everybody dealt with the mortality.
Wow.
Everybody dealt with that mortality. But what I love is that at some point in time, everybody had a come to Jesus moment where, they
That,
were, where it was like, the Rocky music is playing. I'm at rock bottom and I need to hear the Lord and I need the Lord to pick me up because I can't pick myself up. And I
yeah.
love the transparency from all of the contributors actually dealing with the real, and so that was, your story it has its own unique blend, but there's a quote unquote fraternity of those of us who got this diagnosis, and we got to hold each other up. And people, there is hope, and I think that is rings through in the book. There is hope,
Yeah.
and it has to be. We got to fix our eyes on Jesus.
Listen, this is my last question, and I'm actually going to give you the floor like I do everyone else before we continue this journey
Mhm.
into the Cancer Diaries. What is the one non negotiable step you want every reader, be they survivor, caregiver, or just someone in the fight, to take today? I am going to allow you to give them their marching orders.
I'm not used to being in this spot. But the one thing I would say is do the annual checkup. If you feel something that's not right in your self examination, if you see something and, go get it checked out. Early prevention, early detection is a matter of life and death. It's nothing to play with, but it's also nothing to fear. Our God is bigger than cancer. Our God who created the body can heal the body, right? But the only it's up to you to not cause your own suffering and peril. So seek that, and if you do get diagnosed, remember you're not alone. All right. If whether or not you need counsel, whether or not you need a pastor, or whether or not you need a friend, get what you need. Do not suffer in silence.
Dr. LA, I am so excited about tonight. Oh my goodness. This is like my favorite segment every other time, but you done set the stage for who we're about to bring up. How was it being on the spot? I want to know. Was
Uh,
it all right?
It was heated. It was heated. I had never, felt that kind of pressure
You
before. It
never
was
felt that
really.
kind of pressure before? Oh, you did you are a consummate professional, okay? So listen, we're not going to give long introductions this go round because we have a panel, but I
Hmm.
want to bring up some of our newbies to the Avenue,
All
those that
right.
haven't visited the Avenue first, but they are cancer survivors, okay?
Hmm.
I'm going to start with Madam Lisa first, and she's been here before. I know that I have you on the spot, but I'm going to bring everybody up, but do you mind just telling us, even though you shared before, what type of cancer you had and when did you discover it?
I had breast cancer, and I
Okay.
am a 13-year breast cancer survivor. I'm so
Okay.
excited about it. And I discovered it in the shower during my monthly self-breast exam.
And
And
that is crucial.
yes, I can't emphasize it enough how much we need to do self-breast exams.
I love that. I'm actually going to bring up Madam Tasha, if you don't mind sharing your story as well.
So I had colorectal cancer, and I discovered it one day using the bathroom, and I was having issues using the bathroom, and something just wasn't right. So I went on ahead to the doctor, and they said it was one thing when it was totally something different.
Wow. Okay. So
Mhm.
what I'm hearing is that theme of making sure we're getting checked up,
Yes,
listening to our bodies and making
yes,
sure if something is wrong, we go to the doctor. I love that.
yes.
I'll bring up Ben, if you don't mind sharing.
For me, I had stomach cancer. I was diagnosed in March of this year. Just happened to go in for a routine colonoscopy and endoscopy. They just wanted to do the endoscopy along with the colonoscopy. And
Mhm.
that's when they discovered the mass in my stomach. So no symptoms or, any kind of recurring problems before that. It was just something, I decided to get done. And thank God I did
Wow.
because they
Thank God
happened to
you did.
discover it. Yep.
Yes, 1000%. I hope everyone is being educated. There are many cancers out here, so that's why this talk is going to be so important. Awesome. And AB, last but never least.
I was diagnosed in 2023, and mine was found out in an odd way. I had throat cancer. I was in a recording studio and I was saying words, and the words were presenting themselves differently. So the engineer noticed it and called me out of the booth and told me to look at it. So I looked at it and he showed me where it was off, and it sent me to the doctor. And once I went to the doctor, he discovered that I had throat cancer.
Wow. And the doctor is key here. So as brown people, because we're all brown people, it's important for us to go to the doctor, for us to get checked, for us to do that regularly. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep you on the spot.
Yes.
And I want you to just share with me, and this is for all of our panel as well. What was your initial reaction once you got the official diagnosis?
When I got the official diagnosis, I was numb. Um, I was in the hospital and it almost felt like Charlie Brown teacher was talking. He started talking and tears just start rolling and I couldn't hear anything. And Lexine took over the appointment and just had to walk me out and she held my hand and led me to the next phase. But I just was numb because it was my second time being diagnosed with cancer within 2 years.
Ooh, and was the first diagnosis also throat cancer, AB?
No, the first diagnosis was prostate cancer.
Look at you being a two-time survivor. Y'all better come on here and testify. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Madam Tasha. This is a cancer that my father actually suffered from,
Mhm.
and say for you as a survivor. Um, Tell me about that initial reaction when you received your diagnosis.
Well, first shocked,
Yeah.
overwhelmed, and scared because I had just lost my mother in 2012
Wow.
from cancer. So it was just like it was a death sentence to me. That's how I felt.
Wow. What a different
Yeah.
purview, a death sentence.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
understand. I empathize. I totally understand. I'm gonna bring up Madam Lisa.
Well, I was sad, of course, and
Yeah.
fearful of what my prognosis or outcome might be. You know, having to face your mortality at 46. I had a husband and 2 teenage sons. However, I wasn't shocked because my mom had breast cancer, but I was a little surprised because my lifestyle was much healthier than hers.
I think my reaction was pretty similar to some of the other panelists. And certainly Tasha's reaction was similar to mine. I was a little shocked, caught off guard by it. You know, I'm going in thinking it's just a routine exam. And like I said, no symptoms. And then, you know, they tell me I have this mass. For me, I lost a lot of loved ones, including my mom, to cancer.
Wow. Okay.
So she was a breast cancer survivor. And then it wound up coming back in 2011. So, you know, for me, it was a little bit of shock. You know, as Lisa mentioned, just sort of thinking about your own mortality, you know, what all of that means. You know, so it did catch me off guard.
Understood. And I want to keep you up here because you are a minister. So I want us to talk about faith in your journey. How did faith, and this is for everyone, of course, how did faith play a role in this journey? Because yours is what now, circa 2025, is that correct?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So for me, you know, it became very, very real. You know, it's one thing, you know, to be a preacher, you know, and to constantly be giving messages, you know, hoping to inspire, you know, encourage someone to be faithful, right? And then, you know, I find myself, you know, hearing this diagnosis. And so it really tested me, you know, the idea of, you know, knowing God as a healer. It wasn't a sort of a personal experience for me, you know, in terms of him healing me, because I was never really sick. You know, I did have COVID back in 2020, but outside of that, you know, I was always relatively a healthy person. And so it did force me to sort of come to grips with, you know, not being as active. And if I can be completely transparent, you know, it did take me to a really dark and weird place.
Understood.
You know, and so it was during those moments that, you know, God really showed out and showed up. You know, I really learned more about my church family and the community of faith, you know, because in those down times, you know, I would get some sort of message or someone would reach out and that would lift my spirits. That would encourage me, you know, as well as, you know, I'm in the scriptures and God just saying, you know, he's got me. So
I love that. Now you got a lot of shaking heads. I'm gonna bring up Tasha.
My journey, it gave me strength. And like I prayed and prayed I prayed with my husband. Like it tests my faith. Like, why me? Why my family? Why is this going on? Like a lot of my family, you know, was going through it. So it was like I was being tested. And I was trying to figure out, like, why am I being tested with losing my aunts, losing my mom, you know, like, why is this happening to us, to our family? I was like, our family just can't catch a break.
Wow.
So I was, you know, like ready to give up because that's how I was thinking. But God.
Oh man,
Yeah.
God, I feel that you when you said that punched me in my gut. Madam Lisa, talk to me a little bit about your faith journey.
Yes. Well, I can relate to so much of what Tasha's saying. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Faith played a huge part in my journey too. I've always been spiritually grounded and I know where my help comes from the Lord. That was never a question. And there was never a time that I needed more help just to process and accept the diagnosis. But still, you still go to that place, you know.
Yeah.
I was blessed to join a Christian group of women, a breast cancer survivorship group, a group of women that looked like me. And it was so uplifting and inspirational. And they helped to strengthen my faith because I didn't need my faith to be restored. I was there, but I did need it strengthened. And and they help to facilitate my mindset to be more positive. So I went from the why me phase to the why not me, and I felt blessed that God was using me. He was going to use me to show His healing power.
Ooh.
Like, it was an honor, a part of that group. They made you feel like you were just so, just so empowered that you were given that opportunity to like show the world God's power.
Woo, girl, yo, we're gonna be passing the collection plate after this. Y'all talking right now, AB? Come on, listen. These testimonies are amazing, AB, and we've heard some of your faith journey. But tell me about your journey and how it impacted and tested your faith.
Well, it was more or less the Lord speaking to me, and can you walk it like you talk it? Because I've made record after record after record, song after song about God's goodness and how great God is, even in the bad times. Well, I hadn't experienced the bad times like that. And then I experienced it. And I just had to buckle up, and I said, I'm going to share it. I felt led to share. So I shared my entire journey. It didn't make a lot of people happy in my circle, but I shared the good and bad, all of it. And from that, God has used that to actually send people my way when they get diagnoses. And I've been mentoring a few people as they go through cancer. So I think that's what God was using it for, or one of the purposes He was using it for, to spread the awareness that God is amazing no matter what you go through. He's still the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. So that's the way it worked for me.
The reason why we are here is because you all have penned these thoughts. We are only getting but a glimpse into your lives and what you guys went through. So what do you believe that participating in the Cancer Diaries, like, why was that something you had to do, something that you needed to do?
I felt like I needed to do this because it helped me heal, not just physically, but emotionally. And it brought me closer to God. Like, talking about it really, made me go through whatever. I thought I was healed, but I wasn't until I started writing and bringing out that journal that I had. And I was writing every day and like thinking about my family, thinking about it. Just brought up so much more stuff that I was hiding inside of me. So much stuff that I never opened up, I never mentioned, I never said. So I was able to bring it out. I was really able to bring it out. And it brought me so much closer to God. Like the things that I said, the things that I would hold back. I mean, I just felt like it was important during my healing process.
It was important because God was using me as a canvas, and He was painting this picture. And my story was unique. And in every case, in every step of the way, I was an outlier for everything. When my cancer was done, the pain never went away. And they say, that never happens. That never happens. I've never seen this before. Boom. They found out that the radiation was destroying my throat. Oh, that never happens. Boom. Now I ended up half and a half total throat reconstructive surgery, and learn how to eat again, learn how to really speak again and use my voice again. And the journey was just so odd that I had to share it, for the world to see. But and how did I remain throughout it all? I stayed steadfast through it all, trusting God every step of the way. And that's the picture that I wanted to paint, that God is the same. Again, He's the same. And no matter what we go through, He's still the same. So
I love it.
Yeah, so I think I was the hard-headed one out of the group.
What does that mean, Ben?
So I will say, once I completed the writing, I saw how cathartic and how therapeutic it actually was for me. There was a lot of healing that came through the encouragement of my pastor. And in fact, there was a lot of avoidance on my part to even get started. I would occasionally write, jot down some thoughts, jot down some feelings. But it wasn't until and I told him this, I was on a bike ride, and he sent me some words of encouragement to, just finish the task.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally brought me to tears. Like, I'm crying while I'm reading this text. And that was the thing that just sort of showed me, how faithful God has been to me. So for me to just step up and start doing some things that he wanted me to do. And it was through that I saw, pretty much what Tasha said, how closer I was to him, and how much of a healer he actually is, So it wasn't just the physical healing that I was looking for or even needed. I didn't even know that at the time, but the emotional part too.
Woo! That was very good, sir. All right. And Madam Lisa.
Well, I can relate to Minister Ben a lot. I'm doing this because my brother, Dr. Larry Anderson, asked me to, and I can't imagine telling him no. So
I was going to say, don't include that part about yes, but go ahead.
I just can't tell him no. But once I got started, it's truly an honor. I am so blessed to be part of this project. I think it's awesome. And if sharing my story can help someone to be their own advocate, for them to find their inner strength, to help to restore their faith or strengthen their faith because they're going to need it for this fight, then I'm all in, whatever it takes.
I absolutely love that. And we kind of harp on certain parts of being your own advocate because many of us don't do what all you guys have done. Some of us don't go to the doctor regularly. Some of us are not doing our own breast exams. Some of us aren't paying attention to our stool as adults. Like, you have to pay attention to those small things. So I want to say thank you. Is there something you would like to add, Dr. LA? I don't think we've heard you this quiet in any episode ever.
Well, yeah, I haven't been this quiet. They almost had me in tears back
Yes,
there, to be
yes.
honest. One of the chapters in the book is We All Had It. And I just talk about how my whole family has been afflicted by cancer. This whole panel here that we have could have been filled with my family. I brought Minister Ben in to break it up. But, Tasha is my first cousin. You got my sister and my brother on here. Like, our whole family have experienced this at such a devastating level that I needed their voices to be heard. I needed their stories to be told. And as I told Minister Ben, we got a legacy. Like, one thing I can say is this book is going to outlive all of us, but our stories will outlive us as well. And our children and our grandchildren always get a chance to read our stories and hear our voices through these pages of how we leaned on our faith to get through some of our toughest valleys. And hopefully that'll be encouraging for them and for everybody else who picks up this book and get a chance to read it.
My encouraging words are, you are not alone. You always got God, and always depend on your family in the church, but you're not alone. Just always, and make sure you go to the doctor and get checked if something's not right.
Hey there, I'll say stay prayed up and surround yourself with positive people because you need to stay uplifted, and it will help your mental and physical well-being to keep a positive mindset. I used to have a bunch of Post-its on my desk. I still have some, these affirmations that are just keep you encouraged, like let your faith be bigger than your fear, and focus on the fight and not the fright, and let your test be your testimony. These kind of things just resonate with me still today.
I was just thinking, just know that you're not a burden, even though you might be going through this trying time right now. Just stay encouraged. Look for joy in the small things. Be grateful, be thankful for those that God has surrounded you with. So lean on your family, lean on your church family, lean on the body of Christ, because the Lord will send angels to you unaware to minister to you in those moments that you need it.
My message would be for anybody that's going through this to stay where your feet are. Don't go beyond today. Don't look to the future and what's going to happen, and you'll start to play in your mind all of these scenarios when you don't know. Give God room to work. Stay where you are. Take it one day at a time.
Stay where your feet are. We have received so many awesome nuggets from you guys. It has been an honor and a privilege. The book is coming out next year, and we'll be able to read all of your entries. So thank you for stopping by to add the new. Do you have anything else, Dr. LA?
Just thank you to each of them for saying yes.
Yay!
Even those who went kicking and screaming and bike riding.
And bike riding. Look, and bike riding.
You.
Yes. Well, look, guys, in true fashion, we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break. This is our cancer survivors. Everybody give them a round of applause, and we'll see you later. Peace.
I've revealed some things and shared some things in us and really some blind spots that we have when it comes to covering our wife in ministry. It's easy to say during your first ministry. It's a whole lot harder to actually do and function in that space. I don't think you can lead a healthy church if you don't have a healthy marriage and a healthy home. What you have is some heartfelt words and stories and transparency that I hope you can appreciate and benefit from and share with others. It starts with us being transparent, revealing where we are and where we come up short, and working on that together so that we can be a better blessing to the church.
What a special evening we are having, Dr. LA. It's all about the Cancer Diaries. How are you feeling thus far?
So emotional.
No,
I'm good.
Don't you? Now y'all see what I got to deal with.
I'm good.
But the truth is, it has been a roller coaster.
It is. Yeah, it's deep. This is a deep show. This is a special edition, but it is deep, no doubt.
It has definitely been deep. So listen, I'm excited about the next group that we're going to bring up because we got panels out here. Somebody say we got panels. We have panels. It's going to be none other than our caregivers. Tell me a little bit about who you care for and what type of cancer.
Sure. So I care for my husband, Ben Moore,
Okay.
who he's a survivor. And he was diagnosed in March of this year with stomach cancer.
Hi, Miss Lynn. And who did you care for and what type of cancer?
I cared for my husband, Dennis Shumpert, and he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in June of 2023.
June of 2023. I actually wore light blue because my husband's father battled with prostate cancer, and I was trying to figure out what ribbon color I was going to wear because there were so many. So thank you for giving us yet another type of cancer. I have to get used to saying Kev, okay? So bear with me. Let me know about who you cared for and what type of cancer it was.
Yes, I cared for my late wife, Katrina Canty. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016, and unfortunately, she passed away in 2020.
And we lost that battle, but you fought with her. So thank you for sharing that. Last but not least, I'm going to bring up Madam Lex. Please share with me who you are a caregiver for and what type of cancer.
Yes, so I was a caregiver for my mom, and that was in July of 2018 when the caregiving started, and she transitioned in October of 2018.
How did you find out about your mom's cancer diagnosis, and what was your initial reaction?
I found out about my mom's cancer, unfortunately, in the ER department, along with my sister, my niece, and my nephew. My mom had to have a CT scan. We didn't know why she was there, and get a CT scan. And when the nurses or technicians came back to the ER room that we were in, they had sad look on their face. So we didn't know. So they never really came out that exactly your mom has cancer. but it was almost like a shaking of the head and just very like downcast face. So it was almost just assumed because we knew that my mom was having trouble breathing because
Okay.
she was diagnosed with metastatic lung cancer later. But my nephew began to cry. I watched tears roll down his face, and then it kind of hit me like something's going on. But initially, I was basically numb to everything. I was, I think I blocked out the news or the expressions on their face, and then I couldn't even give like a real reaction, whether it be shock or sadness at the time.
Wow. Shock and sadness and numbness is something that we also heard from our survivors being in complete shock. Understood. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Teresa to share with me your account.
So we went in March of 2025. Ben had been complaining about some stomach issues. We thought just assumed it was like a case of IBS or something like that, something, simple, I guess. And he went in for a routine colonoscopy. And then we were waiting after that to get the results back. And the doctor was like, no, I really need you guys to stick around. And we're like, okay. And he sat us down and he came back and he said, the colon was fine. But we did find a mass in his stomach. And we sat there like, what? And just numb, as has been described. Just not really understanding like how we came in for a colonoscopy and found this. And immediately, I know for me, I just went into like, what does this mean? What's going to happen? How bad is it? We still didn't really know that, on the initial, diagnosis, but that took some weeks later.
Tell me about your initial reaction when you guys got that diagnosis.
Katrina went in for a normal mammogram, her yearly mammogram. She went 2 years prior, and nothing was found. So when we went this time, the doctor called us like 2 days later, and we knew something was going on because they told us to come into the office immediately. And that initial, her telling us that, we was just shocked. We couldn't believe it because Katrina was always healthy, no signs of anything that's going on. And as we know, cancer don't give you no signs. There's no pain in the beginning. So this was all a major shock to us.
I'm hearing that general theme about being shocked and you guys being healthy, you guys making sure that you're going to the doctors regularly. Talk to me about your account, Madam Lynn.
So it was a routine physical for him that he did on a yearly basis. The one ironic thing about it is that COVID hit in 2020. So in 2020, 2021, and 2022, doctors here were not doing a lot of the annual physicals. However, in 2023, when they picked back up to do it, he went in, for, like I said, just an annual physical, and his numbers came back elevated. At that time, I really didn't know a whole lot of what that meant. And the doctor didn't say a whole lot. He said that it could be one of three things. Cancer was kind of the last one on the list. But then when we started to see appointments being scheduled and MRIs and things of that nature, that's when we knew that, okay, this is more than just, numbers elevated a little. So we went from there. And once they did the biopsy, they realized that it was cancer.
We just talked to our survivors, and your account will give us this. You'll close the loop of communication for us, because we understand that our family members, I've lost loved ones, and I do have survivors in my family. I have both. And we recognize that, of course, it's agonizing for them because they're going through it. Their body is being subjected to the radiation, to the chemo, and all those things. But could you talk to me about the suffering that maybe you had to deal with as well as being a caregiver?
Because we were walking in unfamiliar territory, he was frustrated, aggravated, annoyed. In return, I don't ever think it was intentional, but he began to isolate. And I felt isolated. I felt alone. I felt like I was trying to fix it. I was trying to encourage. I was trying to motivate. But at every turn, I was met with, I just don't understand. You don't know what I'm going through. So I felt sadness. I felt like I was grieving the person that I had been married to before the surgery. It's like cancer leaves a residue. And even though you may get, clear to say you're cancer free, it leaves a stain, a scar that just never goes away. And even though things are much better now, I just remember those days of just feeling like I counted every second, every hour, every minute on the day of just hoping that there was a glimmer of hope, that he could see that there was light at the end of the tunnel. And because he couldn't see it, it made me sad on a lot of days.
Ooh, thank you for that transparency. And I do hear your counterpart in the background. I'm gonna bring up Teresa. She was actually agreeing with you in the background. So share with me a little bit about what you suffered through being on the other end.
Oh, wow. The same. I felt very isolated, very alone. I think I wrote a portion of the book where I said, like, this is a club that no one wants to be a member of. I just felt lonely a lot of the time, and I was doing the same. I was trying to encourage and try to keep everything upbeat and keep, speaking healing. And we believe in God for healing. And I think, it got to a point where, he said, I really don't want to hear it. And that was hard, because I'm like, if I can't talk about faith, and if I can't talk about trusting God, what am I doing? It just was hard, because I felt like, there was just no one to talk to. I couldn't talk to no one really knows about this. There's only a few people that I knew that had gone down this road. And it's very isolating. It still kind of is. And it's just difficult.
Madam Lex?
It's so unique and different. I like to call it agony of defeat, because the agony that I experienced was, along with significant sleep deprivation and what I want to say, added unnecessary stress, because I was fixated on being my mom's savior. I convinced myself that a herbal regimen was going to save my mother.
Okay.
And that made the days of caring just more physically demanding, more involved than it needed to be. Strained relationships with my siblings, because I wanted them to stay on the strict, because we were all chipping in, caring for her at different times. But I was steering the boat, if you will, and I wanted everyone to not give my mom certain things to eat and to stay on this path of this strict regimen. And therefore, I feel like I robbed myself of peace, instead of just trusting God, that He knew what was best for my mom.
Wow. This is very powerful. And I'm going to bring up Darren just to share with me as well.
Yes, we started out really going full bore at it. But as the days wore on and the doctor's appointments came up, and I'm giving Katrina medicine every day, and I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing all the things that she used to do and hold it down with. All that was kind of put on my shoulders. And sometimes we can feel isolated and alone, and nobody's coming through to help. And sometimes we was getting real discouraged. And the thing about it, Trina was the one that really tried to keep me upbeat, believe it or not, while she was going through her treatments and stuff. But after a while, I became physically and mentally drained. I still had to go to work, and you put all those things together, and just to see your loved one suffering on a daily basis, it could really take a toll on you mentally and also physically too.
So talk to me about your faith journey while you were caregiving. I heard you say it was a mental toll, a physical toll, emotional. Talk about how your faith played a role in your caregiving journey.
Yes, well, in the beginning, my faith was really strong, but again, I think we only human, and when things start to go wrong, and more tests are being done, and the cancer is spread, and I think we as just human beings, we tend to lose faith, and we tend to stop praying, and just kind of be discouraged. And I think we reached that point where we was being discouraged, but by the grace of God, we had great support from our church, GCC, and I think they kind of came in and kind of lift my spirits back up and helped me regain my faith as we went through that journey.
Yeah, I heard that in the beginning. I'm gonna bring up Madam Lynn.
So because I had previous family members that had been through cancer journeys that lost their battle, I knew that it was so important for me to remain hopeful because the Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And because we didn't know and we couldn't see, and because I knew I had to be the encourager at that moment, because it appeared that his faith was just gone. I prayed, I cried, I yelled to God. There were days that, I just wanted to say, God, I can't see our way in this. But I just knew that if I showed any signs of weakness in my faith, I just felt like it was just going to be a crack for the enemy to come in and, pull us both in that ditch. And if we're both in the ditch, who's going to, be able to pull the other out? So I just prayed. I just remained hopeful that better days were ahead.
Better days are ahead. You guys are helping our audience. And Madam Teresa.
I'm still remaining hopeful, prayerful. We're not cancer free yet. So we're still in the fight. And I mean, it's been a true testing of faith for me.
Yeah.
I've had my moments where I'm trying to be strong, but I'm like, who's being strong for me? Like who's holding me? But I prayed. I remember not too long after we got the diagnosis, I just asked God, I'm like, I need peace in this. I need you to give me your peace, because if I don't have that, I don't make it. And he gave it to me. And I mean, it was so incredible, because I remember, being in church and people were asking, how are you doing? How are you? How are you? And I'm like, I'm okay. And I mean, I guess it was surprising that I wasn't in tears and I wasn't, but I had God's peace. I still have it. I pray every day. I still believe him for Ben's complete healing. That's never wavered in any of this. And I just keep praying.
I know that we've experienced a little bit of sorrow here as we're all talking, because we're reliving memories and things like that. And I'm very grateful for you guys' transparency. But tell me about the joy that you found in being a part of the Cancer Diaries and you being able to pen out your journey.
Well, that was incredible, because when PA reached out to me, it was the perfect time. I had just started journaling on my own about, what was happening because I needed to release. And when he reached out, I was like, oh, wow, I get to write about it. Like, I get to put it out there. Like, I get to talk about it. I mean, it got to a point where I was writing and I had to cut myself off. I could have wrote for days. Like, I could have wrote my own book because it was
Well, call me about that. Call me about that later. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I had to cut myself off because I mean, I had so much in here. And it was a release for me. I felt good about it. I felt like, if I could help somebody, in this, because I felt like I didn't really have a whole lot of support. And I'm like, if I could help one person with what I've gone through, that's a blessing. And because it's a lonely road. It's very lonely.
Lex, I saw you shaking your head in the background too. Like, yeah, I got 3 books. So tell me about your experience at writing and being in the Cancer Diaries as a caregiver.
I initially didn't want to write about it. I was like, really, you want to go 7 years, my mom's been gone. And I was like, okay, I think I'll do it. And my thing was, it helped me as I was writing. It just gave me so many light bulbs went off. Basically, I had temporary, I want to say, insanity during the time I was caring for my mom. Like I said earlier, thinking that I could save her through this regimen, but I felt that I needed to participate in the Cancer Diaries because I believe that, first of all, my experience is unique, and because I wanted the opportunity, to show a different perspective and intensity of caregiving. Especially with the herbal approach and herbal approach versus pharma and all those things and everything that came with that. And also to allow, those that struggle spiritually and, mentally, that it's possible to lose your faith, because I didn't answer the faith thing, but my faith was displaced in this during this time. But
you can expound. You can expound. I didn't call everybody for every question, but tell me about your faith. I want you to go ahead and expound on that. Yeah, for sure.
So my faith was displaced because, like the title of my entry, it was fear over faith instead of faith. Expression of desperation, if you will. I never considered the fact that God's plan trumps my plan or any plan I could ever think of. And looking back, I realized, I put all my faith in believing that God wasn't going to let my mom die. And so I put more faith in this hired herbalist recommendations than God, and not realizing it actually at the time. And ironically, I felt like my faith was its strongest at this time, and it was actually, looking back, it was at its weakest. And so, like I said, a light bulb went off while I was writing, and I basically lost my mind. I was crazy, y'all. I feel like I was temporary insanity because it was all about me and my desperate and selfish desire to keep my mom here. And that discovery was very disheartening and very remorseful. So, in participating, I feel like I will let others know that it's possible to lose your faith in the midst of selfish ambition and vain conceit. And but rest assured that God can restore your faith because He restored mine, and that is one of the main reasons I wanted to participate in the writing.
I love you actually being transparent enough to say, look, y'all, I actually went and it was temporary insanity. I wanted to keep my loved one here. And I think we all are understanding that sentiment. So thank you for being so transparent. As a caregiver and as someone that may have to go through this journey, what would be your advice to someone who's called to caregiving like you are?
I would say go into airplane mode, meaning put your mask on first and then the mask on your loved one or the one you're caring for, because it's just going to then equip you, to take much better care of he or she that you're caring for. And importantly, just to lean totally on the Lord for strength, for power, his power, and trust him that he'll help you through it all. So with that, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways submit to him and he will direct your path. But my favorite one is Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in a person's heart
Come on and teach the word.
that will.
And look, now y'all see, now y'all know that's a powerful word, because she didn't put her hand down on the desk. The whole thing was shaking. Come on here now. I'm gonna bring up Darren. I know I didn't ask you the last question, but it's okay because you all shared such touching stories with me. I would love for you to give us some encouragement as well to our body. What kind of encouragement can you give to those who are also caregivers?
Yes, just to piggyback off of that last question, and this is giving advice to the audience, is that when PA asked me to do this, I was first I wasn't going to do it, but I just thought as a man, we as men, we hold all our feelings in and we try to be big and bad and tough and make it seem like everything is all right. But this gave me a chance to release all my emotions, all my feelings, and I think that's what we as men need to do more, to be able to share our feelings, to be able to share our journey. Even got to a point where PA was like, "Man, you writing too much." He said, "I reached that limit in one day." So it was just like a big release for me to just spread that. My journey with other people, for they could realize that it's not good to keep everything inside. So that's a piece of advice I could give people, to share your feelings, share your emotions, stay grounded in your faith as you go through them tough valleys, because that's when you really need to lean on God to be able to guide you through them deep valleys.
I love that. You guys are giving us some nuggets. Madam Teresa, please encourage the body.
Just remember, you're not alone. Um, Seek the support, all the support that you need, wherever you need to get it, as far as mental health or talking it out with a professional, even just to gain just yourself and to maintain your own mental, because this journey can really drain you. But you have to remember that God loves you. He has not forgotten about you. He promised that he would never leave us or forsake us. And even in the darkest of valleys, he's there with us. And you just have to lean in and just trust him.
I'm hearing that common theme. You said help yourself first, Lex. That we're all going to take that with us. And Madam Lynn.
So the one thing I want to say is knowledge is power. And I would want to encourage, any caregiver going through this journey to take advantage of your support groups around you, the people that are there to give you those nuggets, those words of wisdom, that encouragement. Because at first I wasn't reaching out because he didn't want to reach out. But when I found myself feeling isolated, I felt like I know some people that can help me get through this. And although I have God and I love the Lord, I needed at that time something in the physical. I needed to hear someone say, "You're going to get through this." So I just want to encourage, any caregiver that, be knowledgeable on, your mental health, taking time out for yourself while you're being a caregiver, because it's so easy to find yourself in a dark place. And as I said earlier, if both of you guys are in a dark place, where's the light going to come from if you're not allowing God to be that light?
Now I done got some nuggets. Y'all better come on here, encourage us, and yeah, okay. That's what they say. We're gonna clock it. We're gonna snap. Now, Dr. LA, this is again another moment where you have been quiet. I'm sure everyone is shocked, but I would love for you to close us out
Really?
before I excuse everyone. Did you have something to say to your caregivers?
Well, first, I just want to thank all of them for their transparency. Thank them for
Indeed.
joining in this journey of the Cancer Diaries. I did not know what to expect from the caregiver entries. I just felt led to include them, and I was just blown away by the stories. It really confirmed that you are a part of the diagnosis. You are a part of the healing. You're a part of the solution, and you are someone who need to be cared for just as much as the person who actually has been diagnosed. And I think that's, I really want that to get out. I really want that to be heard, that it's more than just the one that's going through the journey. And so thank you for caring for those who you care for. Thank you for going through the journey. And I do hope that it was had some level of healing for you, because I know as I write, it is very therapeutic for me.
But can I tell you, the weight of the caregiver is almost equal to the person that's going through. And each one of you guys talked about looking at death.
Yeah.
It's like, and the grieving process that you both are going through together, but individually.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited about the Cancer Diaries. Now tell me when the book is coming out. Tell me where they're going to be able to get it. I know it's going to be on your website. It's probably going to be on my website first, but tell them all the things.
It's going to be on all the websites, but it's going to come out in February, which is Cancer Prevention Month.
Yes.
And so we're going to release it in February. And so we're putting the final touches on there. I know there's going to probably be some pre-sales of folks who are going to want it before then.
You already know it.
But I'm gonna let folks get through the holidays, and then it'll come on the other side. All right.
Well, guys, it has been another awesome night. Remember to like, follow, and
subscribe.
You're getting so good at that, Dr. LA. I'm so proud of you. Now, we will be off for the holidays. Happy holidays in advance.
Happy holidays.
Now, y'all know I got him singing
Happy
again.
Holidays.
I got him singing again.
Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall.
Yes, so we won't see you next week, but we will see you at the top of December. Enjoy your holidays and stay blessed, guys. Peace.